welcome back to another video. This really popped when I saw it. That to me is a monster increase. Again, this book got hot. This book is ready to go higher.
So let's jump right into it.
We are back today with another statue review from Diamond Select Toys. Without further ado, let's get into the review. And we are back. What is going on, YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and I want to thank you guys for joining me for another Hot 10 breakdown of the week. If you guys don't know what this is, I take the 10 hottest comic books according to the Key Collector app, and I break them down for you guys, letting you know which I'm buying, and of course, which books I'd definitely be staying away from. But before we get started in the video, like always, I remind you guys, if you're not a current sub of the channel, you guys are definitely missing out. Hit that sub button for me. Smash the like button for me, because it really does help the channel out. With that said, let's get into this week's breakdown. Starting off the list at number 10 this week is a copy of Fantastic Four number 48 and the first appearance of the Silver Surfer. This is also the first cameo appearance of Galactus, and we just had a CGC 6.5 that sold for $2,374, up 14% over that average. Then we had a CGC 4.5 sale of $1,131, up another 4% over the average. This book has gotten killed over the past couple of years. I said it recently in another video of mine. I definitely would be picking up this book if you're a big Silver Surfer fan. It has come down way too far, way too quickly, and I think it's a buy. Coming in at number 9 this week is a copy of Incredible Hulk number 180 and the first cameo appearance of Wolverine. And we just had a CGC 9.2 that sold for $2,300, up 9% over the average. Then we had a CGC 8.0 sale of $1,085, up 6% over the average. I was shocked to see that a 9.2 was up to $2,300 on this one. I gotta be honest with you guys, I'm staying away from all Deadpool and Wolverine related books right now. They're just way too hot, and plus I think for $2,000 you could probably save a little bit more and get yourself a Hulk 181, his true first full appearance. That's their better buy and the money book. Dropping 2 spots to number 8 this week is a copy of TMNT The Last Ronin number 1 and the first appearance of Oroku Hiroto, the grandson of the Shredder. This is also the first appearance of Casey Marie Jones, the daughter of April and Casey Jones. And we just had a CGC 9.9 that sold for $630, up an insane 35% over the average. If you guys want to own this book, I do not suggest buying a slab version. Get yourself a raw copy just to have in the collection. I think it's way too much money to spend in a 9.8 or even a 9.9 to own this book. Just a great story if you want to own it. Coming in at number 7 and back on the list is a copy of Marvel Premiere number 15 and the first appearance and origin of Iron Fist Daniel Rand. And we just had a CGC 9.4 that sold for $650, up 3% over the average. Then we had a CGC 8.0 sale of only $269, up 1% over the average. This book has gotten no love over the past 6 or 7 years. I cannot fathom why. Regardless, I think now is a decent time to go ahead and buy this book. And I wouldn't say that about a lot of the Bronze Age keys out there, but this one seems to never go up. Hell, if you like Iron Fist and you want to own the book, I'd definitely be all over this one. Back on the list at number 6 this week is a copy of Captain America number 100 and the first solo titled Captain America series in the Silver Age, beginning with this issue number 100. And we just had a CGC 8.0 sell for $735, up 26% over the average. Then we had a CGC 5.0 sale of $297, up another 20% over the average. All of a sudden, this book is super hot. It is definitely a nice Silver Age minor key, but I gotta be honest, if you want to buy a high-grade copy of this book, wouldn't you rather spend that money and put it towards a bigger key? I think for $200 and change for a mid-grade is totally fine. I'd put my money to work, but outside of that, I do not want to own this book for the price that it's going for. Did somebody say X-Men? At number 5 this week is a copy of Uncanny X-Men number 266 and the second appearance, you heard me say it, and the first cover appearance of Gambit. And we just had a CGC 9.4 sell for $203, up 7% over the average. So this one is a little tricky. Yes, I want to own this book, but I only want to own it in a 9.8 or a 9.9. If you just want to own the book and you don't care about the grade, I'm suggesting a nice raw copy to add to collection. No reason to break the bank. But if you want to own a 9.8, I think right now is too little too late. I would wait till after Deadpool 3 comes out and then see if this book is about to drop. I do think we're going to get a Gambit cameo in this movie, so it may drive the book higher in the short term. At number 4 this week is the book that will not die. I've said it time and time again. It is a copy of Wolverine #1 and the first solo titled series featuring Wolverine in this iconic cover by Frank Miller. And we just had a CGC 9.8 sell for $699, up 6% over the average. Then we had a CGC 9.2 sale of only $175, up 19% over the average. Another case of where the lower grade is going for a higher average. That is because most people can afford the lower grades. Even though this book, it's 9.2, it's still a high grade. Regardless, I want to own the book, but not at some of these prices. I think at a 9.2 for under $200, I think that's totally fine just to own this awesome cover. With that said, anything higher, I don't want to spend the money. Dropping to number 3 this week is a copy of What Else? New Mutants 98 and the first appearance of Deadpool. And we just had a CGC 9.8 sold for $1,610, up a whopping 16% over the average. It seems like a lot of these books on this list are related to Deadpool and Wolverine or X-Men. Regardless, you guys know, I think after this movie comes out, this book is going to drop right back down to around $1,100-$1,200. That's when I'd be a buyer, but only in a 9.8. Coming in at number 2 is one of my favorite X-Men keys. It is a copy of Uncanny X-Men number 101, where Jean Grey is reborn as the Phoenix. And a CGC 9.8 just sold for a crazy $8,100, up 38% over the average. Then we had a lowly CGC 9.2 sell for only $999, up 19% over the average. If you're going to buy a Bronze Age X-Men key, I do believe it is going to be this one, but there's no way in hell I'd spend almost $9,000 on a 9.8. I gotta be honest, I only want to spend around $600 to $700 just to own this book. Maybe it's just me. I know I'm not a huge X-Men fan. I think this book is a must own, don't get me wrong, but to spend almost $1,000 on it, I just can't do it. I don't know about you guys. I know there's a lot of X-Men fans out there that want to own this book, and I'm suggesting 100% go ahead and buy it. Just be careful in the grade you buy. And at the top spot this week is What Else? Another book that just will not die. It's not going anywhere. She's here to stay. It is a copy of Uncanny X-Men number 130 and the first appearance of Dazzler, Taylor Swift. And we almost have confirmation right now that she was going to be playing Dazzler in Deadpool 3. Regardless, a CGC 9.8 just sold for $1,599, up 2% over the average. Then we had a CGC 9.0 sale of $255, up 10% over the average. I've been saying it all along. Wait for after this movie to come out if you want to own this book. I do think it's going to plummet. But hopefully, she is going to be the Dazzler and she's going to put on quite a performance. Regardless, I don't want to buy this book right here, right now. I'm waiting for after that movie to come out. Hope you guys enjoyed the list. A lot of great books on here. Just unfortunately, a lot of X-Men keys and Deadpool and Wolverine stuff that I would not be touching right here, right now. Regardless, it is now time for my best buy of the week, and I'm going with Fantastic Four number 48 and the first appearance of the Silver Surfer. I think silver always trumps bronze, and there's a lot of bronze and copper on this list. I also think this book has been beaten to death, so right now I think you can get a deal. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.